right. Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight, as always, but before we get into the main stuff, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, if we want to look at what's on tap, obviously, the major ice storm unfolding tonight through Sunday evening, precipitation evolution and transition uncertainties, and then also we're going to talk about the prolonged Arctic cold that follows after the storm. All of that is going to be talked about tonight. You can see already by the title, by the main emphasis here, significant ice and power outage threat. It's underway. It's here. We've had a lot of time to prepare. At least if you were here with me, you've known about this for a long time now. So, you know, or at least you should have, for the most part, been prepared for it. But without further ado, we're about to go on and get started with that and get to talk about, what's going on, when is it gonna, what time, is it gonna move through, what time is the freezing rain gonna start, and like I said, there's still uncertainty. Things can change. Like if I say it starts at like 4 o'clock in the morning and doesn't start till 5, those are those short time issues that we usually have. Sometimes, especially when it comes to that transition from freezing rain to sleet, and or even just rainfall, just in general. And so we're going to talk about that. But if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good amount of people that have tuned in so far. Good amount of people have tuned in so far. And also, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet as well, go on and hit the subscribe button. Right now we're at 674. We are one subscriber away. Subscriber away from the 3/4 of the way goal, that being of 675. And then we are also 26 away. Yes, 26 from the actual main goal of 700. So we're getting closer and closer and closer. Let's go on and make it there. So starting off, we're going to talk about what is currently going on in terms of convection right now throughout the state. So you see isolated sprinkles going on. You see isolated drizzles going on. Nothing too crazy. If I move on over into the winter weather precipitation as well, if it will let me, that would be a fantastic sight to see. But I don't think it wants to. So I guess it just wants to sit there and not do anything. So we're just gonna stay here instead. And so from what it looks like right now, it just looks like isolated drizzles going on. This is just rainfall. This is not, any sort of like freezing rain or anything like that. At least yet. Will be later. You see like rainfall going on over here near Blythewood. You see near Iva. You see over here near Georgetown. Just isolated sprinkles going on, but nothing too crazy. Like I said, oh, there we go. Now it works. Just had to scroll out a little bit. But look at this huge storm. I mean, just look at this huge thing right here. If we go on and measure it real quick. We start all the way from over here inside of New Mexico. We're going to stretch this all the way out. All the way out over here into around like Virginia. Probably like Pennsylvania up here. 1,771 miles. That's how big the system here is here. And like I said, that's not even including this area over here near Arizona. I mean, if you even want to count that, that would stretch all the way out to around 2,000 plus miles. So this is a huge, huge system here. And so there's everybody from the Midwest to the Appalachians, to the Southeast, to the Mid-Atlantic, to the Deep South, to the South Central, to the Central, to even the Four Corners region down there inside the Southwest is receiving this area of the storm. So, you see snowfall that goes all the way from Pennsylvania down throughout the Ohio Valley over into the Midwest, all the way into northern Texas, and that's just snowfall. That's just snowfall. Even goes to North Carolina getting some snowfall right now. Virginia is. You see sleet going on right now over here inside of North Carolina. You see also some sleet going on, or freezing rain, I should say, going on up there. And then some freezing rain also going on over here inside of Texas, Louisiana, going on inside of Mississippi, Tennessee. And so if we scroll back, I'm going to say for the majority, most of this is usually just is usually just rainfall. But now that I go in, I don't know why it does this to me. Doesn't want to do anything now. Okay, well, for the most part, like I said, it looks like just for the majority part rainfall, but there could be like some isolated freezing rain up in there, but I think for the most part it's mainly just rainfall. Cloud cover right now. Cloud cover for the most part is showing a good amount of cloud cover over the state, mostly cloudy skies going on. And if we go in and look at cloud cover for the future, if you go in and push this forward, we go all the way through tonight, going into tomorrow. This is tomorrow afternoon, going into tomorrow night. This is Monday morning right here, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you see a good amount, yes, a good amount of clearing going on up there inside the very far upstate. Now, that will go on 4 o'clock, 5, all the way down to 7 o'clock in the morning. This is now 8 o'clock in the morning, and look at how much clearer it's getting for us over here. We're actually starting to see some sunshine. I mean, when's the last time we've seen sunshine at this point in time to where it's just been mostly cloudy over and over and over for days on end? It looks like we finally will start to see some on Monday. And then as we get into Monday afternoon here, going into Monday evening, there will still be clouds. I'm not saying that it's going to be completely cloudless, but it definitely will be a huge improvement from what we've been seeing over the past couple of days. And then even if you go into your temperatures right here for currently. Right now, start off with the low country first, 39 in Charleston, 42, Beaufort, 44, Hilton Head Island, 37 in Somerville. You move over here towards the PD and the Grand Strand, 29 in Florence, 31, Conway, 33 in Myrtle Beach, 34, Murray's Inlet, 34 in Georgetown, 32 in North Myrtle Beach. You go into like the Midlands, 32 in Columbia, 30 in Lugoff, 31, Sumter, 35, Aiken, and then the upstate, 25, Rock Hill, York, even around a good 27 inside of Gaffney, 28, Spartanburg, and Greenville, as well as 31 in Clemson and Anderson. So that's what we're looking at here in terms of temperature. So even more proof that possibly some of those showers that we saw right there on the radar that looks like, for the most part, like I said, rainfall, some of it also might not be hitting the ground. Could be potentially be some isolated freezing rain up in there. Then what about air quality? Well, air quality right now seems like we do in fact have a little moderate area down there inside of the very far western low country. But other than that, everybody else is looking good. Low temperatures for tonight. It's going to be freezing tonight. 23, Spartanburg, 23, Greenville, 25, Anderson, Greenwood, and Newbury, 27 in Columbia, 27 in Sumter, Florence, 28, Kingstree, 29 in Orangeburg, 30, Barnwell, 28 in Aiken, as well as 32 in Walterboro, 31 in Moncks Corner, and 32, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, 37 in Charleston, and 41 in Hilton Head Island. So it's going to be a freezing night tonight for the majority of us, unless you're right there near like that coastal low country area, maybe even a little bit of inland low country. And then high temperatures for tomorrow. Some areas will not get above freezing tomorrow. 32 in Greenville, 31 Spartanburg, 31 Rock Hill, 32 Lawrence, 34 in Anderson, 36 Winsboro, 36 also inside of Newbury, 39 in Columbia, and 37 in Camden, 41 in Sumter, and 41 in Florence, Dillon, 44 Aiken, 48 Barnwell, 59 Walterboro, and 56 in Moncks Corner, 61 in Charleston, and 56 in Myrtle Beach. So it's going to be a cold day tomorrow, unless you're down there, maybe in a little bit in the low country. You might be in the 60s a little bit. So maybe not too cool for you over there. But on the complete other side of the state, I mean, that's a 30-degree difference. Just look at how, you have 31 over there near Spartanburg, and you see 61 Hilton Head Island and Charleston. So huge temperature difference. Huge temperature difference right here. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of areas, like especially in the low country, might not receive any sort of freezing rain at all tomorrow, just because of these huge temperature differences. Now let's talk about total precipitation. So this is not just rainfall. This is rainfall, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. This is all four. This is all the above. Hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch of accumulation for Kingstree, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Orangeburg, Barnwell. Tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for Sumter, Florence, Dillon. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch, Columbia, Camden, Cheraw, Aiken. Half an inch to an inch for Rock Hill, going all the way over to Lawrence and Greenwood. Inch to an inch and a half, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, and maybe even a 2 to 3 inches possible up there inside of the very far upstate. Now, if we go in and look at a couple of specifics, we're going to go and look at ice/sleet. Looks like for the most part, Most of it will be happening up there inside of the upstate. This goes from tonight going into tomorrow night, by the way. This is the parameters for it. Half an inch to an inch for Greenville. You see maybe even, or half an inch to 3/4 of an inch for Greenville. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch. Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Lawrence, Anderson, Greenwood, Newberry, Winnsboro, Rock Hill. And so, one thing that I do see here is that a couple of, I think actually, if not yesterday, then the day before, we were talking about these totals, and we looked at Greenville, and it said like an inch. So, models, are maybe a little bit more on the more hyper side, and I think that this might be more on the conservative side, more on the we think that that's less likely to happen side, and that's from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service forecasts are usually more on the conservative side more than the models are, just because they don't want to overdo it, and they take a blend of models. It's not just one model. Oh, there we go. That's the forecast now. So, there's potential that you might even see more ice than what you see here on this map. It's definitely possible. Then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch in like Chirac, going on inside Florence, Sumter, Columbia, Aiken, maybe even Orangeburg, and then a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch for Kingstree and Barnwell. Everybody else, Georgetown, Moncks Corner, Charleston, Walterboro, Hilton Head Island, nothing in terms of ice. And snow, it's even less. You see around maybe a tenth of an inch in Winnsboro. You see an inch up there near Spartanburg. 0.9 inches in Greenville, 0.7 in Anderson, 0.4 inside of Rock Hill. And so that's just for snow. No ice, nothing like that. Now, will it remain on the ground? We'll look at the depth and see. It should be, for the most part, cold enough. You have high temperatures tomorrow at like 32, like 31. So it should stick. But we'll look at the depth in terms of the models and see what they say. Let's go on now and talk about the crazy score. So, or actually, no. Before we get to the crazy score, we'll talk about the thunderstorms first. So thunderstorms for tonight, not expected. I don't think anyone's really shocked by that. No thunderstorms are expected as we go into tonight. As we go into tomorrow, thunderstorms will be possible. You look over there inside of Columbia. You look over there inside of Florence. You look over there inside of Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Hilton Head Island, Aiken. All these areas from the low country all the way up into the midland areas, thunderstorms are possible. And we'll continue to look at it. And so there might even be a little bit of a phenomena called freezing ice. Freezing ice, thunder ice, I think it's like freezing thunder ice. It's something around like that, those lines. And so pretty much what it means is that when a thunderstorm happens, and you would think it would be just rainfall with thunder, it could actually be freezing rain. You may have heard of thunder snow, or you may have heard of maybe thunder sleet, maybe at some point. But thunder freezing rain is also a possibility. That is definitely a possibility. So make sure that you're watching out for that just in case. That, and then also, no excessive rainfall is expected. No fire weather is expected either. So we are good there as well. Now, what about for the crazy score? Right now we're at a 72. We're inside the severe category. Dangerous conditions are definitely possible as we go into tonight. Why are we at a 72, you may ask? Well, widespread freezing rain, especially up there inside of the north central areas, upstate Midlands, those areas. Maybe even a bit inside of the northern low country as well, PD area. Sub-freezing temperatures as well. And then you also have those northeast winds at around 8 to 12 miles per hour, gusts of up to around 20, 25. We even had a special weather statement over there in Charleston for wind gusts of up to around 35 near the coastal areas. And so there'll be a bit of a wind chill with it as well. And then also, power outages are possible. Tree damage is possible from that ice weight. And difficult conditions, especially driving-wise, will also be a bit of a concern as you go into overnight going into Sunday morning. And so this definitely qualifies as dangerous. Definitely qualifies as dangerous for sure. So let's go on now and look at the models. So the time is actually now at the bottom. Yes, at the bottom of your screen right here. did a couple of changes with it, and now there's no longer any like military time or anything like that. So now all I have to do is go down here, and you can just follow the time. Actually, right here on your screen, right here on your screen. So pretty cool to go on and look at. If we go on now, we can go on and look at the 0Z, because this is the most up-to-date one. If you go on and push this forward, you can see right here, 11 to 12 o'clock in the morning, that freezing rain ongoing inside the upstate, maybe even a little bit inside of the PD area. And then as you push it forward even more to 2 o'clock in the morning here, you're starting to see some rainfall. You're starting to see, some freezing rain ongoing inside of the Midlands, inside of the Low Country as well. Yes, you're seeing some freezing rain inside of the Low Country. And so that area, which I was kind of uncertain about, really just because I'm not quite sure how those temperatures are going to play out and how that precipitation is going to react to it. So, that's probably definitely one of the hardest areas, in my opinion, to forecast is the Low Country. Just because, like I said, we know it's going to have some freezing rain inside the upstate. We know that there's going to be freezing rain inside the Midlands. We know that there's going to be freezing rain inside the PD area. But that coastal Grand Strand area and the Low Country area, especially, like the more inner coastal areas, in my opinion, I think that's probably the hardest forecast, is to really just nail what's going to happen there. You continue this forward even more. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're starting to see some more freezing rain going on over there inside of the PD areas. And then you really start to see that ice starting to move up into the upstate around 6 o'clock in the morning, going on to 7 o'clock in the morning. And then it just continues to stay freezing rain. It will dry up a little bit as you get into around like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. We're seeing nice dry conditions. Until we get later into the afternoon, we're still seeing freezing rain even during the afternoon inside of the upstate, and you really see it as well. Here's 4 o'clock in the morning, another heavy wave of freezing rain moving into the upstate areas. Then you start to see just it turn to rainfall. You see freezing rain on the top side, Rock Hill going near Lancaster, going near over there just to the south of the Greenville-Spartanburg area, just to the south and east. And then you see just rainfall on the southern side, Columbia, Orangeburg, Aiken, going on down there near Walterboro, going on down there inside the Tri-County area. And then it just fizzles out, and we just have some rainfall. Here's 8 o'clock p.m., 9 o'clock p.m. here. We do, in fact, have some more rainfall going throughout the state until around like 3 o'clock in the morning. That goes forward even more, and then we're nice and dry. And look at this cold air that we have right here behind it. This is the cold front. Right here behind it, or at least the cold air behind the storm that's going to rush its way through, and that's what's going to get rid of our cloud cover. It's going to push the clouds out the way, and we're going to remain dry throughout the rest of Monday. So that's pretty much just your short-term breakdown of the system and how it's going to play out. That's your short term. We can go on real quick and change models. I'm actually going to go and do that and see what the NAM has to say. See what it has to say here, and if it agrees with the ARRR or not in terms of timing. Here goes the 18Z right here. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. where we just were. You want to push it forward. You start to see, instead of freezing rain, it says sleet going on up there inside of the very far, upstate areas, but which I do think is definitely respectable. Sleet, in my opinion, if I went on and looked at some of the forecasts earlier up there inside the upstate, and it says a wintry mix, not just freezing rain. So I do think that this definitely is pretty valid in terms of its forecast. It still shows freezing rain in areas down there in the Low Country, still areas down there inside the Grand Strand areas as well. And that continues all the way to 6 o'clock in the morning, again, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then one thing that I do notice about this one is that it's not as heavy during the afternoon as the ARRR was. In fact, it does have like a little area of heavy freezing rain come through, but instead of it being at 4 o'clock like the ARRR was, it's at 6 o'clock instead. So that goes forward. You have some rainfall that moves out by around like 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday. That cold air rushes in behind it, and we stay dry for the rest of Monday. So it looks like that the timing of the exit of this system is probably going to be Monday morning. Not too late, not like 10 or 11 o'clock, but probably around, that 7, 8 o'clock ish time frame, maybe 9. But I mean, that seems like for right now the exiting time of the system and when we're all going to be back to being dry. So now that that is the short term future out of the way, let's go on and talk about the long term future. Again, time's in the bottom part of your screen. And we're going to start off here at the 54-hour mark. This is where we just ended off at. If you go on and push this forward, you see all this cold air right here. And so, obviously, that is something that we're going to have to watch for, because this cold air that we see here is not going to be just like your regular cold air. This will be downright frigid cold air. This right here, this is the low temperature for Monday night. Right here, this is the low temperature for Monday night. You have temperatures down to single digits up there inside the upstate. You see 20s in the Midlands. You see 20s near the coastal areas. You see 32 in Charleston. You see 28 down there as far down as the western low country. And so that will continue through. Then you get to like the hottest part of Tuesday, and you're still below freezing for a lot of areas until you get to around maybe like 4 o'clock, but it would like dive right back down again. This is Wednesday morning right here. We're down to the 20s. Again, we're here Thursday morning, down to the 20s and 30s. Friday morning, same thing, 20s and 30s, maybe even some teens as well. And so I think the theme for next week definitely is going to be a prolonged frigid week in terms of especially those low temperatures. And then you continue that all the way through to around 7 o'clock in the morning here, going all the way through on Saturday, going all the way through on Sunday morning. And it's just going to continue to freeze over and over and over until we finally start to receive some morning relief, potentially as we get into February the 6th. Yes, February the 6th here. So, if you have any, plants, pets, pipes, or anything that needs to be covered during this whole time spread, I mean, just over and over and over again, nights of frigid, cold temperatures. Now, of course, every night, not everybody's going to be freezing. I'm not saying that like, oh, we're going to be freezing every night. We're going to be over here, doing a cold dance outside. I'm not saying that. Or rather say a cold dance inside instead, because I don't think anyone's really going to go outside during that time frame. But it just seems like that this will be one of those longer type periods to where we really are going to have to just pay attention for it. And so you might be sitting there and thinking, well, what's really driving this cold air to happen? What's really driving it? If we go in and look at the dew points first, go in and get it. There we go. If I go in and get it, I mean, you just continue to see this first cold front comes through. You may see, maybe like another second one maybe try to come through as you go into around like the 10th and to around like the 29th-ish or so. You go through again, you see some more dry air pushing through right here, and around on Saturday the 31st, you see just like another little cold blast maybe trying to move through a little bit after that. And so it's just these continued cold fronts over and over and over again, already being cold, that's driving these temperatures to go down so low. And so we also can go in and look at the euro as well. It pretty much says almost the same thing, but if you just go in and push this forward, you can see down to the 20s, down to the 30s for most of us. We go all the way through Friday, going into Saturday. And this is without wind chills. I might as well just go in and add that. This is without wind chills. So I'll go in and, we'll talk about wind chills another day, because I think right now we could, but for the most part, I mean, wind chills are going to show temperatures most likely down to like near the 0 mark. I saw, like a model just yesterday or the day before showed -1, -2 for some areas, especially up there inside the upstate. But in like the low country, I saw like teens down like close to like the 15, 14, 13 degree mark in the low country, down like like the coastal areas near 20, 25-ish. So a cold period is going to continue to make its way through as we continue throughout the next 200 to 300 hours or so. And so that is about all that I have there in terms for the long term future. Nothing else really for me to say here. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9. Yes, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. And I can already see there is a lot of chats tonight. There is a whole lot tonight. So I'm going to just skim through it for the most part. Hopefully I don't miss your message. If I do apologize for that. But there's so many. I'm going to have to kind of go through them kind of quickly. So let's start off. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all are staying safe and warm. I am. Thank you so much for that. Maya Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Maya Lewis says, today in Georgetown was so cloudy and cold. Same thing at my house, pretty much. It's about the same as my house. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Nana says, hello, Jay, and all mailbox run today only. I was outside for a good amount of the day today. Wasn't just checking the mailbox. In fact, I don't even think I even checked the mailbox today. But for the most part, I was outside for the majority of today. Mr. Chris says it's already 36 degrees here on Moncks Corner with a wind chill of 28. Wind chill of 28. Continue our way down. Maya Lewis says, well, I did get my generator running just in case I needed it. That's good. Everybody should have at least tried to see if their generator was running if you do have one. If you don't, definitely could be something that you definitely could want to get, especially as you go even further into the future, because rather, if you even knew, if you were here for the past couple of days, you remember this is not our last threat. This is not our last snow threat. We have another snow threat as we get more into February. And that one actually shows some activity potentially even near some of the coastal areas. That's, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. That's going to be one of the main points tomorrow for that storm, especially as the one that we have going on right now is trying to kind of exit its way out of here by that time and just kind of just be rainfall. So we'll talk about it, that as we go more and more into tomorrow. And then Mr. Chris says, sounds good. All we have is the truck. If we need to go out there, if we lose power, well, at least you have something to go out to. He also says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Now is the perfect time to do so. He's absolutely correct. Right now we've had 63 people tune in tonight. Hold on. We've had 63 people tune in tonight. And we only have 10 likes. That's it. 63 people have tuned into the stream tonight. Yet we only have 10 likes. I have no idea what's going on there. But if you are part of the 53 people that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind anytime. I mean, that's one of the easiest things that you probably will do today. And also, like he said, also hit the subscribe button. We're at 674. Trying to get to at least 675 by tonight. So let's go on and continue and get our way there. My aunt Cheryl comes in and says, hey, nephew here in Miami, leaving on Tuesday morning to go back home to Georgia. How will the weather be on Tuesday morning in Georgia? Flight at 7 a.m. From Miami to Atlanta. I will go on and talk about that as soon as I'm done talking with the audience for tonight. Jeffrey Gentry says, good evening from the Florida weather guy. Largo, Florida, 72 degrees. Well, thank you so much for that weather update for you over there in Florida. Maya Lou says, nephew in Georgetown, what day does it look for the bad weather here? Probably tomorrow, if any. But, like I said, could also be as early as tomorrow morning. It could also be like tomorrow evening when that rain comes through, once that front moves its way through. So, but for your chance for freezing rain will probably be tomorrow morning sometime, like while you're asleep. Thad says, good evening, Weather 360 family. I pray that all are in good shape as this wintry mix crosses all of our paths. At present, we are 30 degrees, windy and cold. The rain and ice is supposed to be on our front step at around 10 p.m. Remember to open those cabinets and drip both hot and cold waters. Make sure we have a plan and back up to your safety measures. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you said that. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat right now. Mr. Michael says it's very windy along the bridges from the mainland to the beach. Remember, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts will tip a semi-truck over. I mean, maybe even as low as 35. Um, at least for school bus. I know for school bus it could be 35, but even for semi-truck possibly could even be 35 as well. Thanks for keeping us informed on the storm. No problem there. And then at the moment, our weather in Georgetown is 34 degrees. Temperature is around 17. That says check up on elderly neighbors, pets, and plants. Stay safe and stay warm. Please do not travel if you absolutely don't have to. And please like the program and subscribe if you have not already. Please, absolutely. Speaking of thunderstorms, I saw in Ryan Hall today that there is thunder ice there today. Yeah, I was just talking about thunder ice. Thunder, freezing ice. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. Thunder, freezing rain. We have the thunderstorm ingredients that are there. There's the potential that while you're getting freezing rain, you're also getting a thunderstorm as well. Trail says, I'm warm, sleeping in a onesie and boots. Can't find my gloves. Sending love and light to everyone. Thanks, Joseph, for the forecast update. You're doing an excellent job. I appreciate you. Well, that's no problem at all. No problem at all. What is about the timing of the cold air? Cold air pretty much is going to happen on next week. But, it's going to start after that cold front really moves in tomorrow. And then Thad says wind chill currently at 15. That is very, very, very low. Very, very low. Even lower than pretty much here inside of South Carolina right now. So you're colder over there than all of us over here. Speaking of, I can even go in and check mine real quick. Then we'll go in and talk about Georgia because we did get a little bit of a request for that. Right now, my wind chill is 37. Wind chill is down to 35. So not bad. Not bad at all. High temperature for today was at 53. So far, so only 53 today. And so I think that is about it in terms of the chat for right now. We'll come back to it. We will come back to it. So let's go on now and talk about, we did get a request, let me see. How will the weather be on Tuesday morning in Georgia? Flight at 7 a.m. from Miami to Atlanta. This is not what I want. There we go. We can go on over here. We can switch back over towards the HRRR real quick. There it is right here. There we go. We're going to look at this is the 18Z. I do not want the 18Z. 0Z is done, and it does go all the way out to 7 o'clock. So, you just continue your way through the night in over there inside of Georgia, inside of like the northern part in Atlanta, like you were just asking for. It's raining. It definitely is raining tomorrow morning, and it possibly will transition. It probably will transition to freezing rain tonight. Here's around like 3 to 4 o'clock. It's freezing rain over there inside of Atlanta right now, and that freezing rain will also get pretty heavy at times potentially as well. So that goes all the way to around 8 o'clock in the morning, if you were wondering for that. So it probably will be freezing rain at that time, at that point. If we go all the way out towards the future, though, we can go even further. Go past 7 a.m. all the way to 9 a.m.-ish or so, and it's still, raining, still having some freezing rain potential over there. But here's around like 2 o'clock p.m. at around Sunday afternoon. And it just looks like a mix of freezing rain and rain at that point in time. But everything else inside of Georgia, from like the southeastern side, it just looks dry. You're not receiving any sort of precipitation down there inside of southeastern Georgia or even like eastern parts of Georgia. It really just kind of cuts off right there at that border between South Carolina and Georgia to where you start seeing that freezing rainfall. And so that's it for Georgia. Thank you so much for putting that request in there so we can go on and talk about it. Let's go on now and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 4 locations outside of South Carolina. What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in from these areas usually almost nightly. So we're going to go on and talk about their areas and see what they have to say for tonight. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight at 26. High temperatures tomorrow at around 36. And low temperatures tomorrow night at around 19. Freezing rain is expected tonight. Freezing rain is indeed expected tonight. And you were just talking about that timing. You said 10 o'clock p.m. Let me see if my forecast agrees with you, and then we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see if mine agrees. It says, for the most part, mainly after 9 o'clock ish or so, but I mean, it said that it could already be freezing raining right now. Even if I go in and look over towards San Antonio, it says that currently it is having some freezing rain over there right now. So, if I go in and switch over to the winter weather radar real quick, I mean, right now it already says that there might already be some freezing rain going on over there right now as we speak. So, honestly, would not be too surprised. Would not be too surprised if Aries already receiving it right now. No precipitation tomorrow, though. You'll be, good after that. And then in terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall for you, looks like right now, nothing. Nothing there. As you continue throughout your future, you will warm up. You will be on the warm up. Sunday night and Monday night will be kind of like your last two really cold nights. 19 on Sunday night, 18 on Monday night, 31 on Tuesday night, but then Wednesday, it will still be a bit below freezing on Wednesday night, but Thursday night, 40. Friday night, you'll dip back down to around 31. But your high temperature for sure is going to go up dramatically. From 37 on Monday to 47 on Tuesday, 56 on Wednesday. So you will warm back up for sure. What about for Raleigh, North Carolina? You have right now low temperatures tonight at 22, low temperatures tomorrow night at 29, and then high temperatures tomorrow at around 32. Precipitation is expected tonight. There will be a wet mix tonight and tomorrow, but tomorrow night be a mix between rain and freezing rain. Now, there also will be some wind chills tonight. Wind chills as low as 15 degrees tonight in Raleigh, and then 15 again going into tomorrow. So it will be definitely feeling. It will definitely be feeling lower. The temperatures will be feeling lower than what is actually currently shown. And so that all, as you go into like your future, no severe weather and no excessive rainfall for you. But for your future, it looks like for the most part that you won't really warm up too much. In fact, you'll stay in the 30s for your highs all the way into Saturday of next weekend. So you're not really going to warm up too much. Then for Philadelphia, low temperatures tonight around 15, high temperatures tomorrow at around 30, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 23. Precipitation is expected tonight. Snow is definitely in the forecast tonight and tomorrow. That will kind of be like a mix of snow and sleet. And then as you get into tomorrow night, wintry mix is there. So that will all come with no severe weather, no excessive rainfall, anything like that. But those temperatures will not warm up, not one bit. In fact, they may cool down. I'm actually serious. They may actually cool down. Tomorrow, 30. Monday, 28. Tuesday, 18 being your high. Wednesday, 21 being your high. Thursday, 20. Friday, 20. Saturday, 23. So it's only going to get colder. It's not going to get warmer. Not going to get warmer after this whole area of the storm, this whole winter storm passes you. And so as you go into the last location being Duncan, Oklahoma, the coldest out of all the regions, low temperatures tonight at 6, high temperatures tomorrow at around 15, low temperatures tomorrow night at 0. Thought I was going to get a negative on here. We might get a negative tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. But for right now, only a 0. -9. Wind chills will be down to -9 tonight. Tomorrow, wind chills will be down to -11. Same thing on Sunday night, -11. Monday, -10. With those wind gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. Especially as you go into tonight, tomorrow. And so we'll look at what happens there as well. But for right now, it looks like that is going to just continue to be cold for you over there. And that's about all that I have here for these 4 areas. So what's going on right now throughout the entire country, being the U.S., in terms of weather news? Well, right now, a significant long-duration winter storm will bring widespread heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain from the southern Rockies to New England through Monday. Widespread travel disruptions, prolonged power outages, and vast tree damage is likely. Frigid temperatures, gusty winds, dangerous wind chills will expand from the north-central U.S. into the southern plains, the Mississippi Valley, and the Midwest. So, all of that's there. I mean, that's pretty much the main thing. that we're going to be talking about is mainly just this winter storm that's going to vast all the way. And I can even show you this because I cannot believe that I'm even seeing this right now because just how big this system is. Look at this. This is winter storm warnings. The pink is the winter storm warnings. We have a winter storm warning going all the way from New Mexico, all the way through Texas, all the way throughout the Ohio Valley, all the way throughout the central, at least the southern central U.S., all the way into the mid-Atlantic, towards the northeast. I mean, this is just a huge storm system that just takes a huge amount of areas. And so, not only that, but also, if you look up here inside of North Dakota, they have some extreme cold warnings. And so you might be asking, well, extreme cold warnings, well, I mean, like how cold must it be for them up there inside of, North Dakota, northern Minnesota for them? 50 below zero. Wind chills would be as low as 50 below zero. And so that's going to be, even inside the discussion, they say make sure outdoor animals have warm, dry shelter food, and unfrozen water. That's how cold it is. They have to make sure that people make sure that their pets, areas where they have their water in is not frozen. That's just how cold it is over there, inside like northern North Dakota, also over there inside of the northern Minnesota areas. And so that, and then also extreme cold warnings down here inside of Louisiana, where they'll be receiving like New Orleans down near 30 degrees. You see Baton Rouge over there near 25 in terms of, low temperatures. So it can be extremely cold for them, and as well as southern Texas as well. So that's one of the main things. And then also one more thing, severe weather tomorrow. There also will be some severe weather tomorrow, not for us, inside of South Carolina, not for us, but over there inside of Alabama, areas like Montgomery, Mobile, Tallahassee, Albany, Georgia, Dothan, Alabama, those areas will see a threat for some severe weather. I just showed y'all earlier as that cold front kind of moved its way down throughout the state of South Carolina. There's going to be some severe weather on the south side, includes New Orleans as well, going just near Birmingham. And so that's what it's looking like right now in terms of severe weather. That's for tomorrow. That's for tomorrow, by the way. So that's all I can see here. What's going on right now in terms of the chat? Let's see. VRFS Mastermind says I'm having snow flurries in Manning. Not shocked. If I looked at it earlier, and I actually was looking. I was like, well, I wonder if there really is some snow or some ice already falling already. And I saw, what I thought was mostly going to be some rainfall, actually be some freezing rain ongoing. Actually being, now it didn't say anything in terms of snow, but, they don't tell exactly, like what's going on, like in, like on the ground areas. And so, even though it's supposed to, but, sometimes it shows stuff that's not really hitting the ground. And so, some of that stuff could just be a little bit off, but for the most part, I'm not really shocked. Not really shocked by that. Mr. Chris says, last time I went to Duncan, the temperatures did not get into the negative numbers. Did get into the negative numbers. I hated every minute of it. Everyone, please remember to stay safe and stay warm and hydrated. My outlook says, yes, please, everyone, stay warm. Absolutely. Top fans of the night tonight. Well, it was very, very chaotic. Very chaotic. There's around 6 people that were going for it. And so, to count everything, that would take a good little bit. But just a little skim over, I believe Mr. Chris still has that number 1 spot for tonight. My Aunt Lula still at that number 2 spot for tonight. And then, it was, let me see. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Thad was at number 3. So, congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can. It's just a little fun thing that we do, that we have, to where, like, if you are a subscriber, you can go on, and you can also go on and be active inside the chat. You need to be early, and then if you are, well, you'll be a part of the top fans. So let's give them a round of applause for being the top fans tonight. So that's all that we have here for tonight. I will be back. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. And tomorrow we will also be talking about the week forecast, so make sure that you're there for that. That's also going to be pretty big for the 25th going to the 31st, last full week. Hit those two buttons before you leave.